Thank you, Abhishek. Good evening and good morning, everyone. Ransomware attacks are not only growing, evolving, but getting more sophisticated by using advanced evasion techniques impacting individuals and organizations across verticals. Thank you for joining this special webinar around the latest ransomware WannaCry. As part of this webinar, we would like to educate, create awareness, and share some insights on how the robust features of Quick Heal and Securite product lines are protecting customers from WannaCry ransomware attacks, which have caused a lot of havoc and raised serious security concerns. Here's what we'll cover today. Overview of ransomware, infection vectors and targeted files, payment mechanisms, the new techniques used by ransomwares, the industries affected, and then we will get into the details of WannaCry ransomware, how it infects the system, how it propagates, what are the files that are targeted. Moving on, we will cover how Securite protects against WannaCry, how the layered protection in the product helps you to stay safe. We will share some statistics around this attack, and then moving on, the most important step essentially to make sure that the right prevention steps are adhered to. Let's get started. So what exactly is a ransomware? Ransomware is a sophisticated malware. It hijacks the victim system and renders it non-functional. The malware prevents the user from using any applications or even accessing the operating system itself until the victim agrees to pay a certain amount of money. Ransomwares are of different types, the most popular being the encryption ones. The files are encrypted using complex encryption algorithms. Decryption is impossible without private keys. Some of the latest ransomwares use strong encryption 2048-bit RSA key pair for encrypting the data. It is highly effective because the encryption used is practically impossible to break. The techniques involve all the communication happening over the anonymous network Tor, the onion route, and use of cybercurrency Bitcoin. It is extremely challenging and difficult to track the culprits. Then we have lock screen ransomwares, which lock the screen and prevent access to your computer. There are a few other kinds. The MBR ransomware, which infects the master boot record, preventing the operating system from loading. Based on analysis, this malware copies the original MBR and overrides with its own malicious code. Let's look at how the ransomware propagates. Ransomware is propagated through various modes or infection vectors: email, malvertising, and using exploit kits that search for system vulnerabilities and exploit them to plant malwares. Ransomware is propagated through spam email campaigns. These emails mostly appear to have important information which may draw the victim's attention. Usually the victim performs one of the following three actions, which results in victim's computer being compromised and ransomware being installed on the computer. When the victim opens a malicious attachment with the email, the action results in ransomware being installed directly on the victim's computer. Opening an attachment leads to a downloader being installed. The downloader then downloads the ransomware on the system. Victim clicks an embedded phishing URL that points to a site with malicious code or an exploit kit, which ultimately results in the ransomware being installed on the system. Many a times, ransomware is part of another malware's payload. Ransomwares are also delivered by an exploit kit. Exploit kits essentially exploit vulnerabilities in software in order to install malware. The attackers compromise third-party web servers on the internet and inject iframes into the web pages hosted on them. The iframes direct the victim's browsers to exploit kit servers, which install the malwares on unsuspecting victims. Malvertising. It involves injecting malicious or malware-laden advertisements into legitimate online advertising networks and web pages. The user clicks on the attractive ads to visit the advertised website. Instead, the user is directly infected or redirected to a malicious site. These sites fool users into copying viruses that are disguised as flash sites. And then the ransomwares are spread through vulnerabilities found in applications, plugins like Adobe Flash Player, and operating system vulnerabilities as well. Let us look at what are the files that are targeted typically by the ransomwares. Ransomwares encrypt a wide range of file extensions using complex encryption algorithms. As we learned earlier, decryption is in many cases near to impossible without the private keys. They encrypt Office files, PDF files, database files, images and drawing files, games files, and archive files as well. Let's look at the various payment mechanisms used to collect the ransom. The one that has clearly emerged as the favorite tool to collect money by hackers is the digital currency Bitcoin. When you pay something digitally, you use net banking, credit card, or debit card. Now your information is attached to the card, such as name, address, etc. However, the case is different with Bitcoin. The transactions you make using the currency are completely anonymous. Whenever customers trade in Bitcoin, a private key associated with their wallet is used to generate a bitcode. That code is publicly associated with the customer transaction, but with no personal identifying information. Thus, every transaction is recorded and securely signed in an open ledger that anyone can read and double-check. One of the probable reasons why hackers choose Bitcoin as a form of payment is because it protects identity. Ransomwares are evolving and deploying new techniques to carry out cyber attacks. We have observed that certain recent ransomwares use brute force attack to break into servers through remote desktop by exploiting the weak passwords. Once they have entry, they uninstall the security products. There's also another set of tactics that malware creators use to avoid antivirus detection. Cybercriminals equip malware strains with ability to detect sandboxing mechanisms by checking for specific registry entries, running processes, certain ports, and additional relevant information. When malware detects that it's running in a sandbox environment, it stops its activity, making the AV believe it's a harmless file. While some hook onto popular third-party tools available for free. Literally, all industries are exposed to the ransomware attacks, which leads to massive disruption to business productivity. The ransomware attacks have the potential to bring down businesses to its knees. Individuals, educational institutions, government organizations, corporates, and businesses and hospitals, even law enforcement agencies have been victims. While there is a rise of observed in targeted attacks, but overall the cyber criminals look for ways they can spread through easily. They understand that systems are not often patched with latest security updates, effective data, backup strategies are still not widely used and practiced. In case of WannaCry, the initial news and reports appeared on BBC about dozens of hospitals in England were affected by ransomware, denying physicians access to patient medical records and causing surgery and other treatments to be delayed. The malware spread quickly on Friday, 12th May, with medical staff in the UK reportedly seeing computers go down one by one. You can very well visualize the kind of impact an attack like this can have and why it is so imperative to follow good security practices. Let us get into some more details about WannaCry ransomware. WannaCry uses an exploit named Eternal Blue Server Message Block SMB vulnerability, which was patched by Microsoft as part of MS17-010 security bulletin, which was deemed as critical. The ransomware affected Windows systems, including everything from Windows XP, Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8.x, Windows 10, and Windows Server OS 2003, 2008, and the latest one, 2016. The SMB protocol is a network file sharing protocol that allows applications on a computer to read and write to files and to request services from server programs in a computer network. Using the SMB protocol, an application or the user of an application can access, read, create, and update files or other resources at a remote server. Remote code execution vulnerabilities exist in the way that the Microsoft Server Message Block SMB 1.0 server handles certain requests. An attacker who successfully exploits the vulnerability gains the ability to execute code on the target server. To exploit the vulnerability, in most situations, an unauthenticated attacker can send a specially crafted packet to a targeted SMB version 1 server. Eternal Blue was first made public in April 2017 after shadow brokers released a bunch of exploits and hacking tools developed by NSA. The Shadow Brokers is a hacker group who first appeared in the summer of 2016. They published several leaks containing hacking tools from the NSA, including several zero-day exploits. Interestingly, Microsoft released a patch for the Eternal Blue exploit just a few weeks before shadow brokers made the NSA-developed vulnerabilities' existence public. However, it is possible that several computers around the world, most likely including the ones targeted in the cyber attack, had failed to update their systems with the Microsoft patch. Most alarming, WannaCry did not spread across networks in the usual way, those through people clicking on email attachments, though the initial reports made it appear it was. However, now, with detailed investigations and associated reports, it is believed that once one Windows system was affected on a Windows network, WannaCry managed to propagate itself and infect other unpatched machines without any human interaction by hopping over the network. WannaCry is different from anything we have ever seen before, as for the first time we are seeing the combination of a worm and a ransomware, union of old and new, and that's exactly what makes it not only lethal, but also the ability to spread across the internet globe, a borderless network, at lightning speed. Worms are standalone software and do not require a host program or human help to propagate. In many reports, we have read that the malware generates a list of internal IPs. However, it has also been observed that the malware generates random IP addresses, just not limited to the local network. This gives it the ability to not only spread to other machines within the same network, but also across the internet if sites allow NetBIOS packets from outside networks. This particular behavior and ability attributes to the widespread propagation of WannaCry ransomware across the globe, impacting 100+ countries. Due to this, people were unsure about the initial infection vector of the ransomware. Let us look at what WannaCry does once it reaches the system. After successful exploitation, it adds the bill of files to the system. As you can see, the files are added into a random character folder within the program data folder. WannaCry adds below malicious registry entries to make persistence into the system so that it could launch the infection after each system reboot. WannaCry then proceeds and encrypts all the data on the system by changing file extension names to .wencry. The ransomware then displays a window informing users that their files have been encrypted and they can be recovered only after making a payment of $300 in Bitcoins. The window is accompanied by two timers, one counting down to a certain time, after which the ransom amount will be doubled to $600. The other timer warns of the time after which users' files will be lost. This is the message or the window that appears on the system that is affected by WannaCry ransomware. So we just learned about the various aspects or information shared in this window. On the left-hand side, you can see the two timers. And then there is information at the bottom left-hand corner about how to contact the perpetrators of this attack. And as you can see, the amount is clearly listed again at the bottom. And the payment mechanism is called out as Bitcoin. WannaCry also offers a free decryption tool, but only for a limited set of files. It has been observed that around 10 files can be decrypted for free of cost. Here's the list of targeted files that WannaCry attacks. As you can see, most of these extensions and files are very commonly used. We have the Office file extensions, archives, emails and email databases, database files, .SQL, SQLite database, media files like image, audio and video, JPEG, MP4, MPEG, graphic designers, artists, and photographers files, virtual machine files, encryption keys and certificates, and developer source code and project files as well. How Securite protects against WannaCry? QuickHeal and Securite users are protected from the vulnerabilities reported in Security Bulletin released by Microsoft MS17-010. The Securite product provides layered protection to tackle the menace of ransomwares, including WannaCry. Securite has been relentlessly working to keep its users secure and protected from ransomware attacks. Updates in the form of signatures are regularly released. Heuristic solution, behavior detection system, anti-ransomware feature are also enhanced to protect users from new emerging and complex ransomwares to protect the users from ransomware attacks. As you can see, there are multiple layers, and this is exactly what we called as layered protection. So we have the internet and network security protection in the form of intrusion prevention, the behavior-based detection, including the ransomware protection, signature-based detections, and backup and restore. Internet and security provides protection against web-based threats such as phishing URLs, malwares such as keyloggers, and other intrusion attempts by rogue IPs from across the globe. These threats are eliminated in real time when access to malicious sites, phishing URLs, and IPs are blocked by QuickHeal and Securite products. The robust firewall also lets you control external traffic coming to your computer as per your requirements, and rules can be set. Here's an information prompt displayed by the product when such an attack is blocked. As you can see, the intrusion was detected and successfully blocked by the IPS layer. Here are the graphics, right, that showcase about shadow broker statistics, which were successfully detected by the IPS signatures and IPS layer. As you can see, we started observing the IPS hits based on the exploits. Hits reported after May 9, 2017 shows a spike in the activity, and it peaked on 15th May. As you can see the skyscraper in the graph. Here's a heat map of WannaCry attack across India. Across our installation base, so far we have recorded 48,000 plus attacks and have successfully blocked. We have had a lot of happy customers who called in to thank us for protecting their assets through zero-day protection. Security labs, support, and engineering teams have been working around the clock to monitor the situation and help answer queries and create awareness sessions for our existing and potential customers. As you can see, the top 5 cities where these attacks were recorded are listed. Similarly, the top 5 states where these attacks were encountered are also listed here. This depiction showcases the heat map of the attacker IPs, the source of origin, or essentially from where they were launched. As you can see, there are certain dark circles. Most of the attacks were carried out through IPs based in these regions. The QuickHeal and Securite products provide the protection and coverage against the shadow broker leaked attacks or the exploits. The products block all detections specifically listed in the security bulletin released by Microsoft. There is Eternal Champion, Exploding Scan, Eclipse, Wing, Eternal Romance, Eternal Blue, which was responsible for carrying out the WannaCry, Eternal Champion, and Double Pulsar. Of late, we are also observing Double Pulsar is being used, dropped as a backdoor. Currently, the products are able to successfully block it. The below section lists out all the detections specific to MS17-010. Let's come to the next layer. The next layer is the behavior-based detection, which has the advanced DNA scan and the anti-ransomware. The indigenous DNA scan technology detects and eliminates new and unknown malicious threats and thereby provides zero-day protection. DNA scan uses the below techniques: detection by characteristics, detection by behavior. The behavior detection system is a dynamic, signature-less, and advanced proactive protection that helps to eliminate new and unknown malicious threats in the system. It monitors the activity on the system, and if finds anything suspicious, then takes immediate action by suspending the application process from executing further. This feature also helps to protect against new and unknown ransomwares. Quick Heal Total Security's anti-ransomware feature is a robust and comprehensive solution specifically designed to detect, block ransomwares. Based on the behavior-based detection technology, it protects your computer and data in two ways. It detects ransomware and blocks it. It then securely, automatically, and transparently backs up your critical data, creating a secure digital locker on your computer, which is accessible only for the purpose of restoring your files. We are very glad to let you know the anti-ransomware feature successfully blocked WannaCry and provided zero-day protection. Let us look at the prompts that are displayed by these features. The first prompt is from the advanced DNA, the behavior detection system. As you can see, the malware, in this case, the task scheduler.exe, which WannaCry uses, is successfully detected and blocked. Once this prompt is displayed on the end user system, it is recommended to click on block. Similarly, a similar warning is also shown here by the anti-ransomware feature, where it successfully detects and blocks the WannaCry ransomware. Let us move to the next layer, which is the signature-based detection. On a daily basis, at least twice, signatures are released to the clients running Quick Heal and Seqrite products through updates. As hundreds of users receive these updates, protecting them against new threats that are identified daily. The new signatures help the products detect and block threats and keep your system safe. Virus protection provides real-time protection and defense. It's up and running all the time to keep your system secure from any potential threats. Email scan protection is one of the first layer of protection. It is known fact that vast majority of ransomwares are propagated through mails. The emails and attachments carrying the payload are not only carefully crafted, but have an appealing subject line to lure the users into opening malicious attachments. Email scan has been successfully blocking a high percentage of ransomwares based on heuristics as well. While signature-based detection is considered reactive, it's important to note that the above features also block ransomwares based on heuristics, thereby providing zero-day protection. Though in case of WannaCry, the security experts believe that this vector wasn't used to propagate. Here's a detection prompt by the Seqrite Endpoint Security, and as you can see, the file was successfully deleted. Moving on, what if you know your data is securely backed up in case of a ransomware attack and you don't have to worry about your critical files being inaccessible? Well, Quick Heal and Seqrite Backup and Restore feature exactly helps you achieve this. This additional layer acts as a safety net and is indeed one of the key features that helps you to recover your data. Some of the key highlights of this feature: it of course requires your product to be already installed and activated. The backup and restore feature is lightweight and works seamlessly in the background to back up your data without any performance overheads. It automatically and periodically, multiple times in a day, takes incremental backup of all your important and well-known file formats like PDF, Microsoft Office files, and OpenOffice files. It keeps a backup of your files on the local drive itself, and at no point this data is either shared or transferred to Seqrite Cloud. The backup folder is protected by self-protection. The self-protection feature ensures that the files, folders, configurations, and registry entries associated with the product are not altered or modified by viruses or malware or tampered with by other applications. In case ransomware or any similar malware encrypts, corrupts, or deletes the files, users are required to contact Seqrite technical support, who will then assist in restoring the data. It's important to note that this feature will not be effective on a system where files are already encrypted by a ransomware prior to installation of the product. I would like to highlight this as the support team did receive quite a few calls around this. Let us come to the preventive steps. Using unpatched and unsupported software increases the risk of proliferation of cybersecurity threats such as ransomware. In case of WannaCry, one of the key steps that need to be taken are listed here. So one of the first steps is to apply MS17-010 security updates. It is recommended to keep your security product up to date, regular backup of your important data, and follow best practices from a security standpoint. Let us get into the details of each of them. So as you are aware, Microsoft had released MS17-010 security updates in the month of March. The first and foremost step that needs to be taken is to ensure, depending on your operating system, that the latest security updates are indeed downloaded and applied. If you have the Windows and updates enabled by default, these updates would be downloaded. In case not, you can visit these links and articles, the KBs that have been provided by Microsoft for each of the operating systems listed here, and follow the instructions that are listed. Moving on, of course, you are required to ensure that you apply the latest security updates released by Quick Heal and Seqrite. One of the other steps that needs to be taken is you can disable SMB service, which is running on port 445, in case you're not using it. Some of the other recommendations include use strong and unique passwords on user accounts that cannot be easily breached. Weak passwords like admin, admin123, user 123456, password can be easily brute forced in the first few attempts itself. To protect yourself and the system from some of the brute force attacks that we discussed earlier during the session, it is advisable to change the default RDP port from 3389 to something else. Two-factor authentication for remote services is also highly recommended. Configuring account lockout policies that automatically lock the account after a specific number of failed attempts should be done. This feature is available in Windows, and the threshold can be customized as per the administrator. You can disable macros in Microsoft Office via group policy. This step would also help you to prevent such attacks. Configure password protection for your security software. This would prevent any unauthorized users from disabling or uninstalling your security product. At the same time, you need to ensure that you apply the latest software updates for your applications. Ensure that Windows Update is enabled to automatically download and apply regular security updates. Also ensure that your system has the latest Windows security patches installed. Apply updates for important software which are regularly targeted, such as Microsoft Office, Java, Adobe Acrobat Reader, web browsers like Internet Explorer, Chrome, Firefox, Opera, Adobe Flash Player. Backup is another important step that goes a long way. As we say, prevention is better than cure. It is important to understand the need for data backup policies for all your important data. It is highly recommended that you periodically back up your important data using the right combination of online and offline backups. Do not keep offline backups connected to your system, as this data can be encrypted in case of an infection. Some of the general security best practices are listed here. Keep strong passwords or login accounts and network shares. Do not open and exclude attachments received from unknown senders. Cybercriminals use social engineering techniques to allure users to open attachments or to click on links containing malware. Avoid downloading software from untrusted P2P or torrent sites. At times, they are trojanized with malicious software. Do not download cracked software, as they could propagate the added risk of opening a backdoor entry for malware into your system. Do not download pirated free software from unknown and untrusted sites. It is recommended to avoid mapping of network drives in the system, unless and until it is well protected. Do not use untrusted plugins, add-ons, extensions on browsers. Do not use important servers for daily browsing, mailing activities. Avoid browsing, downloading when you are logged in with complete administrator rights. These are some of the practices which definitely should be followed, and it will go a long way in ensuring that your systems and organization are safe from these kind of attacks. With that, we come to the end of the session. Thank you so much for your time. In case you have any further queries, questions around WannaCry or ransomware in general, you can call us at the given number. You can also write to us at support@seqrite.com. For more information, you can also visit our website www.seqrite.com or blogs.seqrite.com to get the latest information around WannaCry.